there, beauty ravers, and if you're new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Raven, and this is where I like to rave about beauty. If you would ever so kindly hit that like and subscribe button to become part of my little family here on YouTube, it means so much to me. Now, without further ado, let's jump on into the video. Hi guys, today we are ranking all of my Juvia's Place palettes, and there is a ton of them. I think I have 15. Yeah, I have most of the Juvia's Place palettes that they have released, and I want to rank them for you. And I'm excited to do this rankings because I actually decluttered some of these, but I held on to them long enough to do the video, and now, after this, they can go to their new home. So let's jump on into it. So coming in at number 15 is one that I did declutter, and that's going to have to be the Nudes from Juvia's Place. I can't tell you if it's a good or bad palette because I've actually never used this, but for most of the Juvia's Place palettes I have tried, I haven't had any problem with. Actually, I've never had a problem with a Juvia's Place palette, so I assume this is probably just as good as the others, but I'm just never going to reach for these tones. They're just way too neutral and natural for me. I mean, look at the blue look we got going on today. I love me some color, and this just lacks that entirely. But for the right person, this is going to be a beautiful palette, and I actually already found somebody. So yeah, she's going to love it, and that's all that matters. If you love this color story, that's wonderful. I just personally love something with a little bit more oomph to it, but it is what it is. So moving on to number 14, we have the Warrior by Juvia's Place. Again, just a very neutral palette in my opinion. It is very gold in here too, which I'm not a huge gold fan jewelry-wise or makeup-wise. I prefer silver, but also I prefer anything other than gold. Although I will say, if you are someone who likes gold, then this palette would probably be for you because these golds are very beautiful and rich. I mean, just because I'm not a huge fan of gold doesn't mean I can't respect a good gold shadow, and this palette definitely has that. Number 13 was a palette I actually did use a few times, and I enjoyed the looks that I came up with, but I did declutter this one as well. This is the Nubian palette, the original, the one that started it all. I mean, I have to respect it for that sake, because if it wasn't for this palette, we wouldn't have all the rest of these, and Juvia's Place has one of my favorite shadow formulas, so I'm very happy that it exists for that very reason. However, it is still pretty neutral in here, and just not something I reach for all that often. But I did like the looks I created using it, so I like this one okay. Now coming in at 12, this one I actually almost kept when I did my decluttering, but it is another one that I ultimately decided to let go of. This is going to be the Chocolates from Juvia's Place. Again, for the same exact reason as the other, it's just a little too neutral for me. However, I love the depth that it gives you in this palette. We get some rich, dark browns in here. I love to see it, and I really did like the looks I created with it. Kind of want to keep it, kind of know that I don't need it, so I know I am going to let this one go. I have found somebody who's going to love this, so I'm happy about it. I made her day. She made my day by taking it off my hands. Pretty much the same thing for number 11. This is the Warrior 2, and I almost kept this one, but it is an all matte palette, and I mean, the colors in here just aren't something I will use all that often. I did use this quite a few times for some cosplay looks, and it comes in handy when you want to do a companion look. But if you're trying to do a full look with this, unless you want an all matte look, you're going to have to dive into something else. And I'm not opposed to doing that. I really don't mind having two different palettes, but it's just these aren't the colors I'm going to reach for all that often. So I knew that finding it a better home ultimately was the best decision. I do like this palette though, so take it with a grain of salt. It is ranked so low only because the ones above this, the color stories really start to reach out to me. But I did enjoy this one, and if it wasn't for the fact that I have way too many eyeshadow palettes, I probably would have kept it. But now we're getting into my actual favorites. So number 10 is going to go to my Nubian 2, and I really do love this one. However, the ones above this, they just start getting better and better. But this is beautiful. I really love the colors in here. The color selection is just really, really nice. It is more neutral, but you do get some really fun pops, and that's what I love about it. Number 9 is going to go to my Masquerade Mini Palette, and this is a really beautiful palette. I love the shimmers in here. Some of the shimmers on this row, oh my goodness, are they beautiful. I mean, Juvia's Place shimmers are so powerful. Seriously, some of the best, and honestly their mattes are really good too. But the mattes in this palette are very neutral. I wish they would have given us a couple pops of color in the matte department, but we do have some really pretty pops within the shimmers, so at least there's that. Number 8 is gonna go to my Freak palette, and I love this palette. It is so pretty. The color story, it's so good, guys. Hold on. Look at this beauty. Okay, so we have a lot of different colors in here, which I love to see. We do have some neutrals, but we do have pops in the mattes and in the shimmers, and I love to see it. This is a beautiful palette, and I'm so happy I have it. But the ones above this just keep getting better, like I keep saying, but I do really love this one, and I think the color story is so fun. Now here's where it started to get really hard to rank these, because all of these I seriously love so much. They're some of my favorites, and it was just a struggle to rank them. But I did ultimately put number 7 with the Festival palette. The artwork on this is gorgeous. Honestly, I forgot to mention that I love the artwork on all of these. This one is just really unique and pretty. I think the artwork on all of Juvia's Place palettes are super pretty and creative. I don't know, I really love them. But this one is so pretty inside and out. I love the color story of this, and it almost got ranked higher, but I don't know. I love them all, guys. I love them all. With this pop of blue and the pops of red, I am just obsessed with this, and it's such a good formula. Honestly, all of them are. I'm just so happy. But we're gonna move on to number 6. And I did go ahead and put the Berries palette at number 6. This is a super cute palette. I love their mini palettes. They really are adorable. I wasn't a huge fan of the nudes one, obviously, because the color story, and the chocolate one wasn't enough to pull me in, but this one, oh, is this great. I love it so much. I'm a berry lover, so if you are too, you're gonna love this palette because it's such a beautiful dimensional palette. We have some deeper purple berries, we have some pink, lighter berries. We just have all the berry goodness going on in this one, and I'm so about it. Now, number 5 was really hard for me to rank because it is my favorite artwork of all of them. Like, it's number 1 in the artwork department, but it is number 5 in the eyeshadow department, and that's gonna be the Magic Mini. I love this. This is so beautiful. We have like the night and day, and it kind of reminds me, because I'm a Gemini, it kind of just makes me think of myself, because you have the lighter side and you have your darker side, and I always feel like I'm battling between the two, and I feel like I'm two different people inside of one, and that's kind of how this represents to me. I actually have this in my background. You cannot see it. It's up here, but hold on. I usually don't keep boxes, but I did keep the box on this one because it is so beautiful, and I keep it up in my bookshelf back there. I absolutely love this. I think it's so, so beautiful. But the reason it's ranked number 5 is because the color story is gorgeous, but it's not my favorite color story. I do like it quite a bit, but it is a lot larger than I usually go for. And also, some of the shades in here I probably won't use all that often. I will say the mattes in here aren't my all-time favorite because they are more neutral. We do have some matte blues in here, which I do love. And the shimmers. The shimmers are where this palette gets me, guys. I love it. It gets my heart going. This green up here, it's so, so beautiful. This pink down here, oh, it's so nice. I love it so much. So yeah, that's why it's coming in at number 5. Number 4 might come to a surprise to you guys. I feel like a lot of people would think this is my favorite, but it's actually the Zulu palette. And I know that this was like their rainbow palette, and a lot of people would probably think, because I love color so much, that this would be my favorite palette. And I do love it so much, and that's why it's ranking at number 4, but it's not my favorite. I don't know. You'll see why here in a second, but this is a beautiful palette nonetheless, and I love all the shades in here. Super fun to play with. However, number 3 beat it by just a teeny tiny bit, and that's going to go to the Violets palette. I love this palette. I need to do a ranking my purple palettes because this one is very, very high up there. I love this palette so, so much, and not just for Juvia's Place, not just for purples, but palettes overall. I really do love this thing. I use it quite a bit. Honestly, for having such a large collection like I do, I use this a lot more than a lot of things I have in my collection. So I love it, and it had to be number 3. It just had to be. But number two, will it surprise you? I don't know. Let's find out. Number 2 is gonna go to Warrior number 3. Now, here's the deal. I don't think this surprises anybody, but it might surprise those of you who think the Zulu is the most colorful, because I beg to differ. This is just as colorful, guys. Why don't we hear this one hyped up? At least I don't. I always hear the Zulu hyped up, but this one, I feel like nobody talks about this one. And I love this color story even more than the Zulu. I think it performs so well. I think they all perform pretty equally, if I'm being honest. But the colors work so well together. And even though they are such bold, rich colors and they are very different, I can get them to work very well together, and I love the fact that I can do that. It's just a beautiful palette. I love it so much. That's why it's number 2. Now, number 1 actually might come to a surprise to some of you. I was actually pretty surprised myself, if I'm being honest, but after ranking everything, I realized that this is my favorite Juvia's Place palette, and this is gonna be the Nomad palette. I love this thing so much, and again, the cover art on here, so beautiful. I love all of the cover arts on all of these palettes. I already said that, but this is one of my favorites as well. But the color story is gorgeous. Okay, it's not the most colorful, which is why I was surprised it was my favorite. But I do reach for this the most out of all of them. And I don't know why. I think it's probably because of the grungy vibes in here. You get some grungy greens, you got some grungy yellows and oranges. This palette just reminds me of a forest. Like, I want to be one with the trees when I wear this. It's so beautiful. To me, this is one of my favorite neutral palettes. I know that this might not be neutral to all of you, but to me, this is my type of neutral. And I absolutely adore it so much. You can pry this from my cold, dead hands. And I mean that. I really do. I will say, if I had the Tribe palette, it might have ranked higher than these because I really want that palette. But unfortunately, I can never find it. And I don't know. Should I give up? I don't know. I saw it at Ulta the last time I was there, but it was just a display. So, like, I would buy it if, like, I could get it, but, like, it's not online anymore. On Ulta, it's not online, and it's just display at my Ulta. So, I don't know. Maybe one day I'll be able to add that to my collection of Juvia's Place. But for now, this was my rankings. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'd love to know what your favorite Juvia's Place palette is. Do you have a collection of Juvia's Place like me? Or have you ever tried Juvia's Place at all? Do you like them? Do you not? I want to hear it all from you. So that's going to wrap it up for me today. I hope you have a wonderful day and stay beautiful. Mwah.